Is this really a video about England? Did we actually just win 6-1 at the World Cup? Okay, look, I'll be honest. We need to calm down a little bit. All of these hashtags of, football's coming home and everyone going crazy because we've won 2 games in a row at the World Cup. I get it, it's very exciting, but we need to be realistic here. It's Tunisia and it's Panama. There are some things that we get overexcited about, and don't get me wrong, very, very positive result today. It's not easy to beat these kind of teams that sit back a lot, very difficult to break down, and, maybe a 2-0, a 3-0 win, we wouldn't have been raving about it, but it would have been a fantastic result. But 6-1, very, very nice indeed. Although it's a shame we conceded, it would have been nice to get the clean sheet, but it was fantastic to see the Panama players and fans both going absolutely crazy as if they won the World Cup. So, actually, I wouldn't have traded that. It was great to see. I think the Panama fans were unreal. So good. But yeah, you read the title correctly. We did manage to beat Panama 6-1. Harry Kane got himself a hat-trick, although his third was a little bit lucky. I'm sure he'll be more than happy with that, though. Harry Kane he's unbelievable. There's something about this guy. I know it was a hat-trick, 2 penalties and a bit of a fluky goal. But I don't know how to describe it. He's not particularly quick. He's not overly physical. His first touch isn't the best in the world, let's be honest, but he's just a finisher, isn't he? I think, if he stays in England, if he stays at Tottenham, whatever, he will break Alan Shearer's record. I don't see anyone else but him actually breaking it at this point, which would be incredible for England, but not so incredible for anyone that doesn't support whichever team he plays for. I doubt he will stay at Tottenham forever. I think he'll be there next season maybe, but I don't know, man. There's something about Harry Kane that I can't quite put my finger on. He is just unbelievably good. But it wasn't just him tonight that caught my attention, or today I should say. It was nice to have a lunchtime kickoff instead. Every single player in the England lineup today was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I've got no negatives whatsoever regarding the players' performance. The only little thing I'm a little bit disappointed with is the fact that we couldn't maybe get a couple more in the second half and maybe win this game 7, 8, 9-0 instead of 6-1. I mean, obviously conceding is a disappointment, but great to see the fans of Panama screaming and shouting. But I feel like we obviously slowed down a little bit. It was already a 1 game. It wasn't like we needed to come out all guns blazing in the second half to make sure we got the win. We could afford to take a step off a little bit, and we did that. You could clearly see. Quick shout out to Trippier. I think he's actually been one of our best players so far. Ruben Loftus-Cheek came in for Dele Alli today and was fantastic. Henderson is playing an absolute blinder right now. A lot of people questioned why I put him in my England lineup for this tournament, and people saying that maybe Eric Dyer should be there instead. The thing with Henderson is he gets a lot of crap for sideways passing, but in that position, in the heart of midfield, passing it sideways is, unfortunately, although it's boring to watch, it's a huge part of the game. Switching the play, making sure you're keeping the game ticking, flowing along nicely. Paul Scholes was great at that. Michael Carrick, Cesc Fabregas, a lot of these creative but defensive players in midfield often just controlled the game, and Henderson does a really good job of that for both Liverpool and England, and he is doing really well going forward as well. The pass that he made, I think it was, we're doing really well from set pieces, but there was one where it looked like we've been practicing it a lot. Henderson just dropped in front of the box and first time just clipped it over his shoulder almost, and we just headed it across the goal. Sterling should have scored the header, but instead it was John Stones who got 2 today. John Stones has more goals than Messi in the World Cup. He's got more than Suarez. He's got more than quite a few players. I mean, 2 goals from defence, very good indeed. But Harry Kane is going to win the Golden Boot at this rate. He is top. He's above Cristiano Ronaldo. He's above Diego Costa. He's above Lukaku. And I can't believe it's England that I'm talking about. It's like, maybe watching Brazil or Germany or France, I would have come up with a video like this where they've won 6-1. But no, England have done it. And let's talk about the real problem here, okay? A lot of people discounting it because it's Panama. It's only Panama. Let's just remind ourselves that they got to the World Cup for a reason. they are actually a somewhat decent footballing side when it comes to defending. I think that they're overly physical. They made some very naive decisions in the box to throw our players to the ground. I don't think going forward they were particularly good. They haven't been good, and they probably won't be very good in the next game either against Tunisia, which I'm sure they'll lose as well. But you don't get to World Cup for no reason. They beat some brilliant teams, and they've got some interesting players in their lineup, and they're not an overly gifted squad. They're not going to outplay you, are they? They're just going to outbattle you, outmuscle you, get to the ball first every time. And they could have made today very, very difficult. If I said to you 6 months ago that we would go to the World Cup, scrape by Tunisia, and actually lose to Panama, a lot of people would have gone, yeah, probably. That's England for you. But instead, we've kind of scraped the win against Tunisia, but we played pretty well on the night, I would say. At least in the first half, we were very good. And then we've absolutely dismantled Panama 6-1. I think a lot of people would have been happy with that, and that's exactly what we've got. So let's talk about the Belgium game, because that's obviously going to be the real test. What we've seen of England so far is not the real deal. It's obviously against weaker sides. When we come up against Belgium next week, we're going to see the real England and see what we're made of. And after beating Panama 6-1, there's no doubt that's going to give us a lot of confidence. Lingard was really good today, which is definitely a good thing because he wasn't so good in the first game, I would say. So he's going to go in to the next one against Belgium full of confidence. We should have Dele Alli back then. Kane scored five so far. He's going to be going into the game full of confidence. I don't see us getting beaten too badly by Belgium at all. I've actually got it down to a draw. I think that's what's going to happen now. I think we'll probably get a draw. And the craziest thing about that, if we do get a draw with Belgium, we would finish with exactly the same amount of points, same amount of goals scored, goals conceded. So it would go down to fair play rules. There's no goal difference. It would be head-to-head, but because we've got the exact same record, it would go down to whoever's got the least amount of yellow and red cards. When has that ever happened? I certainly haven't seen that since I've been watching football. So if we do draw against Belgium, who knows what that result's going to be? Who's going to get the most yellow cards in that game? I guess it could go down to that. But it wouldn't surprise me if maybe Belgium just edge it on the day. Maybe a 2-1 victory for them, because they have been playing well as well. And with Lukaku up front, you can see the English team, we do have tendencies to make a couple of mistakes at the back. And I think with Mertens, Hazard, Lukaku, De Bruyne all running forwards, it's going to be a tough game for us. But I'm really excited to see how we perform against another very good European side, because these games against Tunisia, although Tunisia was hard, it's not really a game against a really talented, gifted footballing side. Neither with Panama, but with Belgium, that's exactly what we're getting. Not only are they great at football, they're really physical, they've got a great defence. Well, they haven't been so great this tournament, but if Kompany's fit, that will strengthen them. But going forward, they're blisteringly good. They're very, very good. So that does make me a little bit nervous. But ultimately, we're through. We have made it through to the next stage. It doesn't matter what happens against Belgium. The only thing we're fighting for is first place, so we can play against second place in the other group that's related to our group. So obviously we want to finish first and therefore get an easier team to play against. But do you know what? It's the World Cup. You've got to beat the best to win it. It's just like the Champions League. You don't really want to play all the weakest teams, because that's not going to get you ready for the latter stages where you're going to have to play one of the best teams in the world, no doubt. So I don't mind finishing first or second. Either way, I want us to progress and play against a decent side, because I think that's the main thing we need. We need to be able to join into a game where we're equals. I feel like we haven't had that so far. With Belgium, we're going to get that. I think we're very much equals in that game. I think Belgium might just edge it in individual quality, but what I've seen with the England lineup, with Gareth Southgate in charge, is a real togetherness, a real unit. And it's not all about the individuals for once with England. It's really a team. So if we can join that game against Belgium, we are definitely equals. I don't see one team being better than the other at this point. So really excited for that. I cannot wait to see if we can live up to this hype, because everyone's shouting on Twitter and on social media that we're going to win the World Cup, that Harry Kane's going to win the Golden Boot and it's coming home. First time since 66. We're going to win the World Cup, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. 6-1, 2-1, good results. 6 points from 6. We've made it through. But the real test is against Belgium, and that is going to be a fantastic match to watch. So I've kind of run out of things to talk about today. Panama, I feel for them. They're not the best footballing side. They're not going to get a win in this tournament. They are knocked out. I think Tunisia will beat them. Although, I would love it if Panama won, because this is their first World Cup. They only just scored their first goal at the World Cup. It'd be great for them to get their first point or first 3 points. So I'll be rooting for them, even though I think they were quite nasty in some occasions in this game today. Very physical and obviously a lot of fouls. But Tunisia were worse. I hated that match so much. I thought the Tunisia players were terrible, really nasty. And the same against Belgium. Really got some attitudes, those players. Number 13, that sassy guy, he is quite literally very sassy. And it wouldn't upset me if he had to come off injured, let's say, in the next game. And he's just a dick, really, isn't he? So I'm rooting for Panama and, of course, England to beat Belgium. And it'll be interesting to see who we get in the round of 16. So thank you for watching this video. Just as I end, I want to say a massive thank you for all of the kind words and support since the passing of my family dog. I know I made a video a couple of days ago saying that I might not be around the next day or two. He died peacefully. Unfortunately, he was actually... he was meant to be put to sleep on the Friday, but he actually died the night before on the Thursday, kind of out of the blue. So, yeah, it's really sad, and I'm going to miss the guy. So rest in peace, Bodhi. I'm thinking of you every day. It's really tough when you lose an animal that you grew up with. They get so close to you. It's like he's like my little brother. He really is. So I'm going to really miss him, but I'm okay. It was nice coming on Twitter and seeing everyone saying, rest in peace, Bodhi, and all the best to you, Matt. It's very nice of you guys. But I'm back and ready to go to get uploading again. I am thinking of starting a new career mode soon, so watch out for that and for more World Cup videos. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.